Hi, welcome to Stat Sisters. My name is Carrie, and I talk each week with my sister Erin about all things nursing, with the occasional Harry Potter thrown in. We talk about the nursing topics that you care about. We also chat about nurses in the news, and most importantly, answer your questions. Hey Erin, what's up?
Hey, not much. Just hanging with my bestie. What about you?
I am also hanging out with my bestie.
What? No
What's her
way.
name? What's yours name?
um, what's yours? What's yours name?
What's yours name?
My bestie's Carrie.
Oh, that's my name. That's so funny.
So I hear you had something you wanted to tell me.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm going on a trip
What?
to fabulous Florida.
Oh yes, I'm so jealous of this. A Christmas trip, guys and gals. It's a Christmas trip.
Yeah, so I'm
You're
super
not. You're.
excited. And I used to live in Pensacola, and I love it there. And if you haven't been to the Panhandle and you haven't been to the Emerald Coast, it is called the Redneck Riviera because it is so beautiful. It's like going to like the Bahamas, but you don't have to leave the United States. It is so beautiful. It's like white sand beaches. The water is clear. You can like walk
Ooh.
out forever. Like you can walk out probably, I don't know, like a mile. It's like so shallow right there at the beach. It's just so beautiful, and you can see really clear water. Anyway, so when we leave on Christmas Day, we're gonna stop in Pensacola, actually in Destin, and stay
Oh,
there for a day before we go to
fun! And it's
Orlando.
gonna be way warmer. I heard like 70s and 80s, like the only place in the entire country right now.
Yeah,
It's
it won't.
like, nope, I'm not doing winter.
Yeah, so in Orlando it'll be like 80s, but on the Panhandle it actually freezes. So it
Oh,
still will be
okay. See,
cold.
totally naive here. Sorry, Florida. But pretty. Cold
But
and
it's
pretty.
gonna be so pretty. I'm so excited, and we're gonna be in the sand, and it's kind of like snow because it's white.
So close. So are you gonna do you have like friends that are do you have friends that are still there, or
I
you just
do,
gonna be
but I'm not
visiting the
telling
area?
anybody I'm going. We're just going to do a family thing, but
Well,
we got this like
I think you
super
just
good
did.
deal. Oops. We got a super good deal though. A really good deal on a like a big suite with a oceanfront view. It was like a holiday sale. It was like score. Anyway, should we talk about some nursing topics?
That might be a good idea.
I think our topic today is actually a question from a lot of our listeners. Actually, like two. I just say a lot because that's a big percentage of our listeners. Um, but it's
That's a gigantic percent. And there's more than two. I've a lot of informal discussion on
uh,
this as well, I'd say. So
so
more
it's
than that.
how to be a good patient. Good, like in quotation marks, because all patients are good, right? But how to be like an easier patient.
We've had quite a few listeners ask us um, how to be a good patient. What, even though this is a nursing podcast, we have, I say, a lot of civilians, non-medical people listening. I'm not trying to offend any like GIs out there, but
No, but
non-medical
yes,
people.
thank you for liessing, even if you're not nurses.
I
Please share
know.
with your friends.
I would think we're boring you, but they like it for some reason. And but they've asked, like we love our nurses and we love our nurse friends and they work so hard and that Erin, she's amazing. But well, maybe they didn't say that part. But anyway, but they asked, how do we be a good patient, both just in general, and I would add to that, how can they advocate for themselves as a patient? But that's me.
Well, do you have suggestions or you want me to go first?
Go for it, girl.
Okay, so I think my number one thing is bring food, but not stuff that you make at home. No
Oh, like for
offense.
the nurse. I thought you meant for yourself. I'm like, do you not have a cafeteria?
No. State Mungos, we don't serve food. Bring your own. No, bring food for
Pack a
the
picnic.
nurses. But don't bring it from home that like you cooked, because no offense to anybody, but we just don't know. And like our whole work is like body fluids and stuff, so we're just like kind of gun shy about that.
We
But
get heebie-jeebies. I know. And
yeah.
your tamales may smell amazing, but I'm not going to eat them.
No. So if we do take it, very few of us are actually eating it. So bring store bought packaged foods.
Even though your food's probably way better.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure homemade tamales are better than donuts from wherever, but bring the donuts instead, or bring fruit trays, or bring something. But you don't have to. We're still going to take great care of you if you don't. But especially in OB, bring food, because a well-fed nurse is a happy nurse, and a happy nurse is a happy patient.
And that doesn't just exist in OB. I will tell you, that is all over. Nurses everywhere. We like to eat more than we should. And I think night shifters exponentially more. I
That's so
remember years ago when I first started in postpartum, we had a patient come in to deliver, and she was a baker. She had her own shop, and she, as part of her nesting and in preparation when she was like laboring, she made, not like I have a big cookie sheet at home, but like the industrial size cookie sheets that are like what, like 2 of them put together or more. She made 3 sheets of baked goods and pastries and brownies and all of her like confections for her staff, her nurses at the hospital. So we ate the heck out of those, man. We did not care that she, made, and she was a pro.
So if you're a professional baker,
They
go ahead.
were fabulous. And it was during the holidays. So of course we had no sweets in the hospital. But oh my heavens. I was like, you are an angel from above. And she's like, it's just what I do when I'm stressed or, restless. And I was like, bake away.
You're like, yay. And
her room looked like a display case. It was great.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So, and a lot of people don't understand. Like, I've had people offer me like tickets to things, or we can't accept anything except really food.
Right.
And we can't accept because it's a violation of like ethics or whatever.
Right. And,
so
and most of our employee code, most of our handbooks, I think ours has a stipulated amount, I want to say, but really anything that's monetary, gift cards, vouchers, movie tickets, we really, even if it's okay with our institution, most nurses are going to politely decline that. But food, we will totally take it.
Yeah. So definitely food is acceptable, and that's why I'm saying bring it if you feel inclined, because we appreciate it. So
Right.
Other ways to be a good patient.
I love how you totally led with food.
Yeah, that's number one. I mean, in Hypno Babies, they talk about how to get the nurses to be Babies is something that it's like Bradley method or Lamaze or something for labor people, and they're gonna have babies anyway. They have a whole section about how to get your nurse on your side, just in case she wasn't already, just naturally. And it
Good
involves
heavens.
food.
So I would say, first of all, let me preface this by saying you should not have to do anything. Even if you are a horrific patient, we should take care of you as well as our favorite person in the world. So that,
Absolutely.
Don't ever feel pressured. Your care should never, ever, 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 ever depend on you. Your
No.
nurse, that we should not be showing preference. We should not be showing, favoritism or treating somebody worse or not treating somebody as good as somebody else. And, people get nervous when JACO shows up and people come in for audits and, administration's on the floor. And I've always kind of quipped, and maybe it probably doesn't sound the best, but I don't really care. But I say, honestly, I don't care who's here. I don't care who's watching me. you could be Mary Queen of Scots and I'm going to treat you the same as my homeless guy off the street. That's my personal philosophy. If I'm doing my job right and I have good ethics, I should be doing my job right all the time. Not just when I think Jaco's watching, not just when my boss is around. And so you should not ever feel pressured to, quote, be a good patient. You're there. You're sick. You're vulnerable. You should not be having to put on an act. But if you are curious what things nurses do like versus others, then this part's for you, is what we're talking about today.
Yeah, if you're concerned about helping your nurse have a better day, which I think that's the intention of all these questions we've received, is like how to not make my nurse's job harder.
Right. I think it's more of like how to not be a bad patient. How to not be that patient.
Yeah, the one that makes you cry at the end of the shift. Yeah.
Or twice during it. And so I think for that matter, number one, just trying to be nice. But on the other hand, I've had a lot of people yell at me in my career, and some of them really mean it, and others I just know, I've got somebody who's in a lot of pain, or I've got somebody who's really scared, or doesn't understand what's going on and needs things explained. And the difference between that and the people who are just being jerks, to me, are you see that even over just the course of a 12-hour shift. Maybe you just see that patient that one time, and that's all you see them, and you never see them the rest of their life. But even in a 12 hours, you can see their emotions kind of modulate, and you can see when somebody's stressed or just having a bad day, and you come in the room and they're like, I really appreciate you explaining that to me, or thank you for your help, and and so that's just human nature, and that doesn't really bother me. It's the people who are just intentionally rude and nasty. But if that's the case, you're probably not listening to our podcast. And even if you are, you're just going to be a jerk anyways.
Yeah. I know.
So I guess it doesn't matter.
Well, along those same lines, I think something that annoys me, and it's really unnecessary, is saying you're sorry over and over for everything. Yes, you don't have to be sorry that I'm taking care of you. That's my job, and I enjoy doing it. And you don't have to apologize all the time. It's actually annoying.
I'm like, please don't. And I tell my patients, I said, I literally, this is literally what I'm here to do. I get paid for this. I'm not volunteering. And even if I were, I still signed up for this on my own. Nobody forced me to come and do this, and I don't care. And it's so sweet. And you know what? I have apologized to my nurses when I've thrown up all over myself and them or whatever. Yeah. Even though I never care when I'm taking care of a patient, and it's certainly different for people who aren't medical because they don't clean butts and puke and everything else that we do all the time. So for them, it's mortifying. But for me,
I'm not. Yeah,
I still apologized.
Oh, I know. Even as I said that, I was like, yeah, I do this totally. I apologize because I made a sound when I delivered America.
Because you made a sound? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You're not.
I mean, it was lame. Like no medicated, like non-medicated birth, and I like grunted or something, and then I apologized. They're like, for what?
Are you kidding me right now? No, I tell my patients, I'm like, just stop. I said, you're not even. And I try to make it a joke. I say, you know what? It's okay. You don't even rate in my top 10 right now. Like 2 years from now, I'm not even going to remember this moment. But please don't be offended by that.
Oh, yeah. That brings me to another thing. Like, help us out, please, people. We see so many people. So even if you were like the best patient ever, we probably are not going to remember you when we see you in Walmart. So do us a solid and say, because you remember us. Right. Because we were your only nurse, but you were not our only patient, and it'd be impossible. I'd forget my own children's names all the time if I had to remember all the patients. And so just say, "Oh, hi. Oh, Carrie. My name's blah blah blah. Remember you took care of me, 2 years ago." And then you'll save me so much embarrassment of pretending I know who you are.
I know.
And maybe that'll trigger something.
I was just going to say that. Sometimes it triggers things. And, or I'll be honest, there's times I see patients and I'm just like, whoop, turn around. I go the other way. Like the community pool, it's a little awkward, especially if it was like a psych patient.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, or I'm in the Walmart and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're really mean. And I turn around. I've totally done an about face with my shopping cart.
Oh, I totally have too. I want to tell you a story where I saw somebody that I totally recognized and I did not say anything because I think if you see a nurse and she doesn't say anything to you, it's on purpose. Even if she recognizes you, she's going to ignore you because it's like HIPAA. Like we're not going to say, "Oh yeah, hi, I took
Right.
care of you." It
Right.
you,
I
you
don't
have
say
to approach
anything.
us.
Absolutely. You have to be the one to say something to me because otherwise I'll feel like I'm violating your privacy. Definitely. You have
Yes.
to be the one to make the first overture. And then if I haven't already dodged you and pretended I didn't know you, then that's a good sign and I will definitely have a conversation. And I would probably love to because I like to follow up with my patients. And in the hospital, I often don't get to.
Oh
So,
no, we because of HIPAA, we don't often find out the end of the story. We just
we don't.
know exactly what we did, and
And
we
then
might
they go
hear
on.
something randomly like you were readmitted, but we don't know anything about it.
No, we can't go look at your chart or go ask that nurse. So
No,
how are they doing? So
no.
we just kind of that's part of our job. We just wonder, and we're just there for a passing moment or two. So well,
Well,
Mal, we are all over the place, but I'm loving this
let me tell
topic.
you my story.
Oh,
So
okay, story.
this is one of the patients I do remember, and I totally recognized her. So I took care of her. Well, I can't even remember if it was a son or a daughter, honestly, but it was so long ago. But I took care of her child in peds, who was very sick, and she was pregnant at the time. Um, Fast forward like a month or two, I took care of her while she was losing her baby.
Oh,
So my heart was totally touched and sad for this family. Like her child like recovered. I can't remember anything about it, which I wouldn't say on here anyway, but like I can't really remember the specifics. But she recovered. The mom went home. The baby was lost. Not lost, but passed away. And then I saw her when I was out to pizza with my family, very, very pregnant. So, like a year later, I saw her very, very
oh,
pregnant. And I just wanted to cry. And I totally wanted to go up and hug her and tell her how
right,
happy I was for her, that her kid was, healthy, obviously, running around in the playground, and that she was having
right.
a baby that was obviously full term. And, but of course, I didn't. I just sat there and ate my pizza and drank my root beer and just was so happy.
Oh, I love that story. That is such a good story. I was thinking it was gonna be one of those patient stories, but this is so fun. Oh, we don't get a lot of those. That's like
No.
serendipitous, really, that you got to witness that.
Yeah, it was because I floated to peds like about once a week back then, but then I got her as a labor patient later, which is really unusual to have had them in both areas like that.
Right, right.
Yeah, it just happened, and then I just happened to see them, out in town, and like a year later. So anyway, that's one of my favorite stories.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. That's so great. So, oh, okay, I don't even know how to follow that because I'm not even going to try because that's just wonderful. Other ways to be a good patient, I'm going to focus on some more like practical things, I guess. I would say advocate for yourself. And by that, I mean that's a nursing word for stand up for something you think you need. And that doesn't mean be nasty or, throw fits or anything. But if you don't, it can be something as simple as you don't understand what your doctor just said and they left the room and you're feeling overwhelmed with all these terms or diagnoses or plans they just threw at you. Talk to your nurse because a lot of times she's still hovering around or he, or when they come back in, say, I'm not really sure what the doctor meant by this, or I don't really understand what this test is. That sounds kind of scary. What do I need to be worried about? What is this medicine for? I'm not really sure. And if you can't remember these things because it's a very stressful time and you're exhausted and we're waking you up all day long and all night long, write it down. Keep a little notepad by your side, something like that you can just jot your questions down. And please, so when I say advocate for yourself, speak up. I want to know what you're feeling in your body, and any good nurse is going to want to as well. Because we take all of those things along with the cold hard facts that we hear and see on our monitors, and that's what we put together to take our best care of you and make our treatment plans. And sometimes those subjective experiences that you're telling us, that's the difference between me calling your doctor or not and saying, I think we need to take a deeper look. So speak up when don't feel like you have to just sit there. Take an active role in your care. Understand what's going on with your body because at the end of the day, you're the one who takes it home. I don't take it home. Your physician doesn't take it home. You do, and you have to deal with, the ramifications, and I want you to understand what just happened to you. Otherwise, it can feel like a very traumatic and even invasive experience, I think, because as nurses, we get very possessive and protective of our patients. But I think in doing so, we kind of like become them a little bit, and we forget maybe that like this is their body and this is their life, and we just kind of go in there and start listening and touching and moving things
Yes.
around, and like
Yes.
take an active role and be like, hey, Nurse Erin, I didn't understand this, or I'm not feeling comfortable with this. Is there another option? Can you help me with blah blah blah? Just speak up, and it's not a bad thing. And if you're getting an eye roll, you need to talk to that. You need to talk to your nurse. You need to talk to the charge nurse. And again, I have patients ask me, what do I do when I have a bad nurse or somebody who's mean to me or doesn't understand? You can ask for another nurse. You can ask to
Yeah.
talk to the charge nurse and help maybe problem solve, so you can all get on the same page. And maybe you don't need a new nurse. But I think just really take that active role in your healthcare, because it's your healthcare.
Yeah, I think taking an active role, not just in the discussion about your healthcare, but I feel like sometimes people go to the hospital and they kind of take a vacation from self-care. And
Yeah.
it's really important for you as a patient to do as much yourself as possible. That doesn't mean try to get out of bed and to go to the bathroom by yourself when we've asked you not to, because
Right,
then
and
you
fall
could
and
break a
your hip or
hip.
get a concussion. Right?
But
Anyway.
it's really important for your ability to go home, which is super important because you can get more sick in the hospital easy. You
Oh,
need
yeah,
to be
and
at home.
You get weak and deconditioned so quickly.
Yes. So be active in your own care. Listen to the instructions of your physician and nurse, but do as much for yourself as possible. If you are brushing your teeth at home, brush your teeth there. Like
Right.
if you were, doing
Even if
things
it
on your
hurts
own.
or
Yes,
takes you
like
twice as long.
yes.
Yeah,
And
we're definitely
don't
there
just
to
give
help
up.
you, but keep going. Otherwise, it's going to make your recovery that much longer, really.
Yeah, there was something else I thought was important. You were talking about advocating. Oh, okay, two things. When a nurse is in your room and they're doing all the things, like they're assessing you and they're like asking you all the questions, like, are you in pain? Do you need to go to the bathroom? Do you have all your stuff next to you? And there's like something you want her to do, just ask. And if she
Please.
says, is there anything else that you need? She really wants you to tell her or him, because
Even
as
if she's
soon as
standing
you
at the door, like
no,
she's not trying to run away.
no, she has a lot of other things to do, but she's in that room with you and she wants to make sure that you are okay so that she doesn't have to walk out of the room and then you call. And the way the call light works, it doesn't mean that someone else is going to come in here and help you, like a random person. That nurse is going to turn right back around and come in. And that is one of the most frustrating things ever. Like to have spent like 30 minutes in a room and you think that everything is perfect. And then, like, the moment you walk out, they're like, oh, I forgot my glasses are on the counter, which could totally be like you just forgot and then you just wanted them. That's
Right.
fine.
It happens. It happens. But when it's I understand what you're saying. When it's a consistent thing, it does get, and it's, for me, it's typically right about the time I'm putting my gloves on in the next room. And
So,
I'm
but
like,
if you're doing that because you don't want to stress out your nurse, it's so much more stressful to like space it out and call her 30 times.
right.
Just try
If
to
you
group
legit
it as much
forget,
as possible.
right. If you legit forget and you need things when you need things, that's totally fine. I know in our hospital we do hourly rounding at minimum. And so we always try to address those things and then say, I will be back in an hour. And I tell my patients at the beginning of my shift, I will be here every hour. So if you need things that can wait, then, you're welcome to do that. But if you ever need me in between those times, please hit your light. Don't feel like you have to wait for me to come back in the next
Yeah,
hour, because I
definitely.
may get caught up with one of your neighbors and not be in here exactly in 60 minutes. I'm just trying to hit you at some time in the 2 o'clock hour, the 3 o'clock hour, the 4 o'clock
Yeah.
hour, and so I say, please, please, please call. But yeah, for, the little things, or I just had a question, things that can wait.
Yeah,
If you're
use your
trying to be a
notepad,
nice
write it down.
patient, yeah, lump those bad boys together, write it down. But if you really need us, please don't sit there and wait. That's
Yeah, absolutely
If you're
not.
hurting
That's
or you have to
worse.
potty or something, then
Yes,
no,
tell
definitely
us.
call us, because that's again what we're there for.
Yeah, that's right. And even if even if we just walked out and you ring, we're gonna
It's
come
totally
right
fine.
back.
We're gonna do it.
We're going
every
to do it.
time. I might send my CNA or somebody, but somebody will come.
Somebody will come. Another thing is, if you have a concern, and this kind of just piggybacks on what Erin was saying, if you have a concern that you have been voicing to the nurse about your your symptoms or something you're feeling, or you have a question about your care, you don't agree with what the doctor said, or like maybe the internist said something different than, respiratory, or like, whatever is going on. And then your physician comes around on you, and we know that they come in and usually they're like, blah, 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 and then they're out.
Right.
But if you don't say anything during that time, then that physician's already at the desk, has written orders based on that conversation that you had and on their way. And so it takes a lot of effort from the nurse to like circle back, and we'll do it. Please at least tell us. But if you have something, please talk to the physician. That is
Absolutely.
the best way at that point to get your concern addressed is with a
Well,
physician.
and if you don't, sorry, go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish.
Yeah, it's just at the best time because they're there to listen to you at that time, and that might be the only time that you see them during that day.
Exactly. A lot of, and I know previously, I think, years ago and historically in medicine, our physicians did round twice a day or so, and they'd always come back by again at the end of their shift. And that's just no longer possible with their patient loads. And a lot of patients are disappointed in that or a little frustrated in that. I'm like, our physicians aren't being slackers. That's just the way the world has gone in medicine and the demands that are placed on these doctors and, the amount of sick people we just have. And so it's not that your hospital's being cheap or your doctor's being lazy, first of all, but also, like Carrie said, that's your face-to-face time with your physician. And if you forget, absolutely, we will track them down. We will call them in the OR. We will call them at home. We will do whatever it is we need to do to get a hold of them and have that discussion. But now you're stuck with us playing operator between you two and being your go-between and trying to do our best to interpret what you want and advocate for your needs rather than you being able to have that one-on-one discussion with your doc. So if you can remember and try to write things down, do so. And if there's something that can wait until that next day when your doctor rounds or later in the day when your doctor rounds, then wait. If not, bring it up, to your nurse, and we will do our best. But it's just, if you could really capitalize, I don't want somebody else having that discussion with my doctor for me. I want to have that discussion with my doctor myself, and so that's really in your best interest to get your point relayed, get some explanations. And I think a lot of people are just timid because they know their doctors are busy and they don't want to be a pain in the butt. And so they're just like,
Right.
I don't want to interrupt him. I can tell he's busy. Maybe his bedside manner, we're spazzes in medicine. And I think I speak for doctors and physicians or excuse me, nurses. See, I almost spaz. Nurses and physicians and RTs and everybody, therapists, we're just always on the go. And when you're used to working on your feet for 13 hours a day, you tend to forget to just have interpersonal skills like sit down and talk to people. And we're so used to multitasking, and it's our bad. We forget to stop typing on the keyboard and sit there and look at you and have a normal conversation like you would when you're having dinner with a friend. And so, but that comes across to our patients as, I don't have time for you. I'm too busy. So give them the benefit of the doubt that they're probably just socially stunted and be like,
Yeah.
hey, can I talk to you about this? Because it's your time. And they're not going to say, I'm sorry, my time's up with you. I have to go see somebody else. Unless there really is true crisis. And then they'll come back. So,
Yes.
please don't be timid and worry about taking too much of your doctor's time. If there truly is an emergency, they will excuse themselves. Otherwise, like Carrie said, when they're in your room, they're yours. Use it.
Yes, and it's more effective and your nurse can help you. Like if you talk to the nurse
Absolutely.
and say, "Hey, I need help staying here with me and help interpret what we've already talked about," we'll happily do that. A lot of
Totally.
times you do rounds anyway with the physicians when they come, so you as a nurse know exactly what was discussed. But
Right.
that conversation is more valuable than the nurse like coming back around on the back end is because the physician like a lot of times will be like, "Oh no, I just talked to Mrs. Smith and she is totally fine with everything that I said."
Right.
And then
You're
we're like,
well,
yeah, and then they're like, "Well, they're kind of like questioning sometimes like, well, did the nurse go in there and like undermine them or like," and we're like, "No, you just didn't get the right communication that you thought you did." Like, but that's not something that it's easy to tell people. Like,
well, it's true. Well, or, like, again, you're in a stressful, pretty unknown situation. It's not people's daily milieu to hang out in the hospital as, when they're patients. And so they just got hit with all this information. And for a doctor and nurse, we're like, boom, boom, boom. We're making decisions right then. And sometimes they have to process it. And then
Yeah.
like half an hour later, they're like, "Oh crap, what about that? And what about that?" Or, so
Yes.
that's where we come into play. So use us, use us, use
Yes.
us. So
Yes.
all right,
I
what
totally
else?
agree.
Any okay, we've talked about food. Did we mention we like food? Did we mention we like it when you bring stuff? And in Christmas time, especially the closer, there's like an algorithm. The closer you get to the Christmas holiday, the more green and roughage and meat and cheese trays we want, and less
Yes.
candies.
Yes.
It becomes like inversely proportioned.
Yes. That is so
'Cause
true.
we're like sugar comas. We've all turned into diabetics at that point.
I think like the true answer to this, how to be a good patient, is just be kind like you would to anybody else, and
Yes.
that's really it.
Yeah, I think just be kind. You know, we love funny patients. We love happy patients. We love kind patients. But I love patients who are crying and in crisis. And I love
Yeah.
patients who are grumpy because they're in so much pain and they're so frustrated and they don't know what to do. And I've had good experiences with patients from all walks of life and people that I have nothing in common with personally. So I think if you're just kind and conscious of your surroundings and just try to be an active participant in your care, that is to me going to be the best. You know, you don't have to be cracking jokes. You don't have to bring me a plate of cinnamon rolls. But if you do, I want frosting on them. So.
Yeah, but I don't. Sometimes the grumpy patients are the best.
Oh my gosh, like Maxine, you know, from the cards. Sometimes you just want to squeeze them.
Yes.
You just love it.
And you're just so happy when they get to go home. Like,
Yes.
like they've met their milestones, and we're not happy because they were grumpy. They go home, but because despite everything, they're like so cantankerous that like they are gonna be fine, and they like
I
overcame
know.
whatever they were there for, and they're going home
Nothing's
to
gonna get them
be cranky
down.
with their family.
Boom, exactly. So either way, thank you for being our patients, and we love you because you make our days where we go home and we're like, oh, I just loved my day. It's not because of our coworkers. We love them anyway, but well, most of them. But thank you for being our patients, and thank you for making my job one that I love. So
Aw, this is a mushy topic.
I know we've had all the good feels.
Okay, we'll see you next time on the Stat Sisters. Have a great day. Make sure to check us out on SoundCloud and like, comment, and share. Bye.